My cancer was really small. It didn't spread through the lymph nodes at least. So it should be cancer free as I sit here today. But they're doing.
Young K, she's on a roll. They wonder why she stays so low. They wonder how she getting dough. She know that she bout to blow. Young boss, she's on a roll. They watching her while she's strutting slow. She comfortable everywhere she go. She know that she bout to blow. Young boss, she's on a roll. Never lost focus, always in control. Know exactly where she trying to go. Way she moves, keep their minds blown. She young, but there ain't nothing young about her. If you have sense.
What's up, Harrisburg? It's your girl, Madeline Renee, and I welcome you to another segment of With Madeline Renee. Now, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you know we had to go out all pink, and with the help of Get Booked for the Look and Unforgettable Styles, we did just that. So today we have Janelle Heiserman, a survivor of breast cancer and a superwoman. And today she is here to share her story and educate us a little bit on hereditary breast cancer and being a young survivor. So Janelle, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Okay, I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I work for HAC, and I work at their Midtown campus, where I have all of their engineering, trade, and technical programs. And as you said, I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, so we're here today to talk a little bit about that.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and the discovery of breast cancer?
Okay, so for about 5 years, I've known that I've carried the BRCA1 mutation, which causes breast and ovarian cancer. And so for the past 5 or 6 years, I've been really vigilant in getting preventative screenings, mammograms and MRIs to check to make sure that there weren't any issues going on. And then in July, I had my routine MRI, and they found a few spots that they wanted to check up on. We did a biopsy, and early August was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, wow. So for anybody that doesn't know, it isn't really encouraged to get screened routinely for breast cancer until you're 40. So how easy was that process for you?
Yeah, one of the things that I think is important to talk about is if you have a family history, a strong family history of breast cancer, knowing whether or not you have a genetic mutation which causes that breast cancer in your family could really be life-saving. And it probably was for me, hopefully was for me. Knowing that I had the gene allowed me to get the preventative screenings every 6 months, have insurance pay for those preventative screenings every 6 months, and not have doctors pushing back on you saying you're too young to get screened yet. And it was in that preventative screening that caught my cancer, really, really early. I had 3 tumors, and all 3 tumors were really small. And even though they were aggressive tumors, they were caught before they could ever spread to, my lymph nodes or anywhere else in my body. So it probably saved my life, because had I waited until I felt a lump, it could be years from now. Breast cancer grows very slowly. And so they were saying it could have been, 2, 3, 4 years till I felt a lump.
Yeah.
And by then it could have spread.
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, that's amazing that you had that education and that
Yeah.
you were able to be so prepared and proactive. So when you say you have a family history,
Yep.
Is that just like a mom, or can you explain that a little bit more?
So my paternal grandmother died of ovarian cancer in her late 40s,
Okay.
which is also caused by the gene. And then I have an aunt who has had breast cancer twice. She's my dad's twin sister. So you can imagine the genetic makeup is pretty similar to mine. And then, unfortunately, I lost my cousin a few years ago, and she was diagnosed at 41, and she had a type of breast cancer, triple-negative breast cancer, which is most commonly associated with the gene, which is the hardest cancer to cure. And so she lost her battle, and when she was diagnosed in her early 40s is when I decided to get tested for the gene. And I had to fight the insurance company a little bit. My aunt prepared this family tree of cancer, showing, my grandmother had this cancer, and, she had this cancer, and my cousin had this cancer, and my aunt's cousins had these cancers, and kind of demonstrating the need to do the genetic testing in my family.
Yeah.
And insurance covered it after we demonstrated that there was a need there, and we submitted that backup information, and lo and behold, I had the gene. So.
Yeah. And so, with that extensive, very extensive family history, what was the risk like for you?
So I had an 88% lifetime risk of breast cancer and a 41% lifetime risk of ovarian cancer. So I had always planned on doing the preventative surgeries, having the preventative mastectomy, having the preventative hysterectomy, but unfortunately, a lot of the doctors base everything off of family history and the age of onset of cancer. And for my family, the earliest cancer was in their 40s. I'm 33 now. I was 32 when I was diagnosed, and I just really thought I had like a decade until I had to have these preventative surgeries.
Right.
So
Wow. And so, I mean, obviously, you were very young, going through this and, going for these checkups and telling people I need, to get these tests done.
Yeah.
How did that impact you in your dreams of having a family?
So when we found out that I had the gene, the doctor basically said, if you want to have a family, you'd better start that now. And I think I was like 27, 28. When I found out I had the gene, and we had our first child at 29.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right, congrats.
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and thankfully, I got to have my babies before cancer, because cancer takes that right away from you. You know, chemotherapy fries your eggs.
Yeah.
And
So I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and I will have the preventative hysterectomy probably come January, February, to negate the risk of ovarian cancer and just get that out of the way so we never have another cancer scare again.
Most definitely. Being 27, you're working,
Yep.
You're young and you're living life. What kind of toll did that take on you? Was it stressful thinking about, oh man, I need to have a family? And,
Right.
were you thinking that this could be where your life went?
Honestly, finding out, I always had a sneaking suspicion that maybe, and just with the family history, I always had a sneaking suspicion that maybe the gene was in our family. And when I found out, I decided to just look at it as a positive, because I knew that I had this chance and I had the risk and I needed to be careful about it.
Right.
And that insurance was going to cover these screenings that I needed, and so if something did crop up, we'd catch it quickly. So it wasn't, it's certainly not good news that you want to get that you have this mutated gene that causes these cancers, but it also allows you to be in the driver's seat and take control of your health care, and it allowed me to do that, and it saved my life, I'm sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome, and it's really nice talking to you because you are so informed.
Yeah.
And being a young woman, and I actually do work for a breast cancer foundation at the moment. And this is all that we're about is education, and the education really isn't there.
No.
Right. So what are your thoughts on that about the education of breast cancer?
I feel like so many people say, do the self-checks, get a mammogram when you're 40. It's not really thought of as a young woman's disease, but now that I've been diagnosed as a young woman, there's a whole network of people, hundreds of thousands of people who have been diagnosed with breast cancer in their late 20s, in their early 30s, and it happens every day. And so I think a lot of people think of it as an older woman's disease. Even a lot of the reason we're here with Get Booked for the Look today is to get a nice wig, because so many of the wigs out there are, made for women in their 60s and not for women in their 30s, and so many people don't think of it as like a hereditary issue. It's a very small percentage of women that get breast cancer through hereditary cancer, but it's still a significant portion of women, and so if you have a family history, it's worth it to try to get the genetic testing to know, so you can be proactive.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you brought up Get Booked for the Look, and mentioning how important it is, to have these kinds of services, for young women who are going through this. So what kind of blow did this take to your confidence, to you, how did this impact you emotionally? And
it's funny, I had always prepared to have the preventative surgery, so losing my breast wasn't much of an issue for me.
Okay. Because you had a double mastectomy.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I opted to just get rid of everything.
Okay.
We're not playing games. I don't want to get cancer again. And I had always planned on doing that. So that wasn't a huge shock to me.
Okay.
I had mentally prepared myself for that. Losing my hair was hard.
Okay.
losing my hair was harder than I thought it would be, because I don't consider myself like a vain person or a materialistic person, but when you see yourself bald for the first time, it's not the best feeling in the world. And my 4-year-old does not like my hair bald, so that was kind of tough too. Now the 15-month-old thinks it's hilarious and wants to pat my head, but so it's definitely that was harder than I thought it was going to be. I try to be very strong in all things, but that was definitely a hard step to take.
So how did you get through those difficult times, though? What helped you push through?
I mean, just being a mom, you don't really have time to slow down, so I attribute a lot of it to that, because you really just can't slow down, you can't break down, you can't, just curl up in a ball and stay in bed all day and cry. You have to just keep pushing through, because you have little people who are depending on you to feed them and clean them and take care of them and make sure they're not climbing the walls. So, yeah.
This is why I called her a superwoman, because that is a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I just thank you so much for, sharing your story and educating all of us on this. And so I do have to ask you too, what made you, so compelled to share your story? What makes you want to let everybody know that this is what I'm going through? Because this is personal.
Yeah. I really kept the news of my genetic stuff to myself for years. I don't think I told many people that I had the genetic mutation. I mean, other than, my family and some of my close friends knew that, eventually I would have to have some preventative surgeries. But when I was diagnosed, even when I was first diagnosed, I didn't tell anyone until I kind of knew what I was facing. Because there's a couple scary weeks there where you're diagnosed with cancer, but they can't tell whether it's spread until they get in there. And so you don't know. You don't know, did it get into my lymph nodes? Is it through my body?
Right.
Has it gone to my lungs or someplace where it's not as easily treatable? So until I knew that it hadn't spread, I really kept it very close. Because I wasn't willing to kind of share that scary stuff.
Most definitely.
So,
yeah. So how would you advise a younger woman who was interested in getting tested, or going through some kind of screening? What was the process like that you went through, and how would you advise them on going forward with that?
So if you have like a strong family history of either breast or ovarian cancer, or even prostate cancer, for men is also caused by the BRCA gene, talk to your OBGYN or your family doctor about getting tested and see if your insurance will pay for it. Even if they won't pay for it, I think that there are some other ways to get tested through like free clinics. There is like the 23andMe testing, which is the kind of mail-in sample testing. It's not as comprehensive as a medical test, but it would tell you a little bit about your genetic risk, so that's something you could always do too if insurance won't come through and pay for the testing.
Okay. All right. And so what are you looking forward to? You are cancer free now, right?
Hopefully.
Okay,
yeah.
hopefully cancer free. So, how do you feel? Are you looking forward to doing anything special, or?
Yeah. So we're about halfway through chemotherapy treatments right now, and obviously I've lost my hair, which is part of the reason that we're here. I'm just looking forward to being on the other end of everything, to having all the surgeries and the chemotherapy behind me. I'm looking forward to summer. I know that sounds ridiculous, but this summer was kind of stolen from me, so I just would like to, be at next summer at the beach with my kids and just on the other side of everything.
Nice. And we didn't even talk about the chemotherapy. What was that like? I'm sure people, want to know what's the biggest challenge, or...
It's been not as rough on me as I think maybe it is on people who are a little bit older, and I don't know if it's just my age. I get very tired for like days after each treatment, but I haven't been sick so far, so that's a good thing. I know a lot of people get sick, but yeah, obviously like lost my hair, and you lose your eyelashes, things you don't even think about. I might lose my fingernails, So it's definitely a process, but if it's going to kill any last cell that they might have left behind, then let's do it and give us the best chances of never having to deal with this again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you brought up those fabulous eyelashes
Yeah.
because they look great today. And of course, I want to talk about that. So why don't you explain why we're even here at Get Booked for the Look and what your experience was like today?
So I just want to shout out to my friends, my girlfriends, Karina and Sarah and Emily and Chrissy and my family, my sister, my mom, my sisters-in-law, and my mother-in-law. They all pulled together with Jen, who's so graciously donated, her time and her skills and everything. They worked together to kind of get me a custom wig because I was kind of texting them, showing them wigs from local wig shops, none of which looked very good. And I'm a very much kind of like, well, let well enough be type of person, and they knew enough to step in and say, no, you can't go around like looking like this. You have to feel more yourself. So my friend Karina reached out to Jen, and it was just like by miracle that Jen was wanting to do something for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and to do something, like a charitable giving, because she's just such a sweet person.
She really is.
And it just worked out perfectly. And so this morning we came in and we got my wig done and my makeup done, and it's something that's very outside of my comfort zone. But it's been fun because it's been outside of my comfort zone. I've never had my makeup done before, or I've had my hair done, but never quite like this, like a full wig and, style and custom color and all of that. So it's been
beautiful.
Fun. It does. I know.
You really
it looks
look
great.
marvelous. I'm just like, okay, Karina, so you are Janelle's best friend.
One of. We go back years, like kindergarten, first grade.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. But you are the one who did reach out to Jen and set all this up, with her family and everything.
Yeah.
So how did you even find Jen, and what made you reach out?
So, I actually follow Jen on Instagram. Right. So, a couple of my girlfriends, I think last year, actually got booked for the look. And from there, I saw the tags, and I just followed her from there, and I just really loved her work. And I saw that her wigs were phenomenal. They look super real. And after Janelle was wig shopping, she was sending group texts with the pictures, and I'm like, she's too beautiful. She needs something legit. She needs something that'll really express how beautiful she is outside and inside. I've always looked at her, high school, middle school, whatever, up, she people that have it. She has it. So I know she couldn't be walking around with just anything, on her head. So I contacted Jen, and really funny, I had no idea she was even doing any kind of giveaway. And it just so happened that she wanted to do this, and it all just fell into place. So
that's awesome.
Here we are.
Nice. So you've been here today throughout the entire process. You saw, her get her hair done. You saw her get her makeup done. The beautiful outfits that were provided by Unforgettable Styles. How do you feel about Janelle's makeover today?
Honestly, this whole experience has exceeded all of my expectations. When I first reached out to Jen, I really just thought we were coming in for an installation and a little bit of glam. But you guys have all really gone above and beyond, at least my expectations. I know Janelle's expectations as well.
Okay, Jen, so why don't you share with everybody what you did for Janelle today?
Well, today, me and my company, Diamonds Cosmetics, provided Janelle with an 18-inch full lace wig, custom colored to her liking, and also provided her full face glam, very natural, subtle, soft beauty using my foundation line, Diamonds Cosmetics. And, this is just something that I just wanted to do. I feel I wanted to give back for everybody who supports me that in the last 2 years have gotten me to this point of being an entrepreneur. So I had posted on Instagram that when I reached 10,000 followers that I was going to be doing a giveaway of services of full glam and hair and makeup. Never did I imagine that Janelle would be that person. It just happened to be as soon as I hit 10K, it was on her friend Karina. She contacted me on Instagram, And I was just like, can I call you? Can you call me? And it kind of just fell into place because this is something that I already had planned doing. And it is something that was brought to me. And I felt as though it came at the right time. It's as if, God brought it my way. So I really, really wanted to help, especially knowing her situation and being so young. And I myself, during my pregnancy, I had feared that I might have been subsided to cancer because I was having like hormonal issues and my breast tissue and things of that nature. So it really touched me, being that we're the same age, and I felt as though I wanted to help. So
That's awesome.
I wanted to donate my time, my services, and give her the best experience, especially going through an emotional time in her life, so young, and being a mother of two. And it's just, it kind of impacted me in a way that at one point in time, I thought I was that person.
That's awesome. And so I know that you've done things like this before in the past. Talk about that a little bit.
Yes. During the month of October in 2015, I did a video with Michelle Green about domestic violence because I myself was in a relationship for a long period of time where I had went through that emotionally, mentally, and physically. So with that, I did the video, and I also went to the women's shelter, the domestic women's shelter on Market Street in Harrisburg, PA. And I donated all my services to makeup and hair and helping these women feel like they are worth something. Where a man, might have put them down where they felt like they was nothing. Of course, I couldn't record or do any of those type of things because their safety is number one.
Right.
So, yeah, some kind of, I just kind of like to give back from, just give back because I feel like that's what we should be doing. We should be supporting our community. We should be enhancing everybody. We should be allowing people to grow.
Yeah.
And, that's just what I do.
Most definitely.
No,
and
something that I feel like I want to do.
seriously, and we appreciate it, Jen, because you do such a good job. And,
Thank you.
just knowing that your whole mission is to empower and uplift women, that just makes everything that you do 1,000 times better. So, thank you. So, Anthony, you are the photographer.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what is your role today?
I'm just providing, behind the scenes video, and also we're going to do a photo shoot as well for Janelle. So I'll just provide my services for the day.
Nice.
For a good cause.
Nice. So when Jen reached out for you, or
Yes.
reached out to you, excuse me, why did you agree to be a part of this day?
I just always want to provide my service for anything that has to do with a good cause, Yeah, I just always, especially with, being Cancer Awareness Month, I just always, I just want to do much I can, as far as, the community itself, as far as being involved, I've been involved with a parade also. Just, went down and took a few shots or whatever. So anything I could pitch in any way or form, that, I like to do so.
Nice.
So,
is there anything else that you want people to know about your story, about breast cancer awareness, education, anything?
The only thing I really want to say is just know that it can happen younger than like a 40, 50, 60, years of age, and just to be proactive in your health. And that doesn't have to do anything, with solely breast cancer. Like you were saying, it could be skin cancer, it could be anything. Just if you feel that there's something wrong in your body, push your doctors to check it out and make sure that you are okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. This was absolutely fabulous. Seriously. I'm so excited that I got to be a part of this. Like I said, I got to meet you. And thank you for educating me even more and being so strong, to be able to share this with young women like myself who, may not have thought about it.
Right.
You are extremely courageous and beautiful, and just thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it was a pleasure meeting you.
Young, she's on a roll. They wonder why she stays so low.